Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the deadliest ground vehicles of World War II, a global cataclysm that redefined warfare for all time. These weren't just machines, they were steel predators unleashed upon a world already consumed by fire. Imagine the deafening roar of tank engines, the earth trembling under their weight, a symphony of destruction composed in the heart of the world's most terrible war. We're not just going to list facts and figures, we're going to journey into the heart of these mechanical monsters, to understand the men who commanded them and the men who faced them in the crucible of combat. Get ready, because the stories we're about to uncover are not for the faint of heart. This is a tale of unbelievable destruction, of technological innovation pushed to its absolute limit, and of the human cost paid on battlefields dominated by these metal behemoths. The Panzer IV was the backbone of the German blitzkrieg, the spearhead of the panzer divisions that tore through Europe. This wasn't some oversized, glamorous monster, but a testament to practical German engineering. Early models provided a mobile platform for the 75mm gun, a weapon that could punch through early war adversaries. The Panzer IV evolved, up-gunned and up-armored as the war progressed. The Eastern Front forced it to adapt or die. Later variants turned it into a true tank killer, capable of engaging Soviet heavies at range. It was a symbol of German military might, a psychological weapon as much as a physical one. The T-34, a name that still echoes with raw power, a symbol of Soviet industrial might in World War II. It sent shockwaves through the German high command. A machine unlike anything they had anticipated, a brutal fusion of firepower, mobility and sloped armor. Born from the desperate struggle of a nation fighting for survival, its design was simple, but that simplicity was its strength. Mass production flooded the Eastern Front with these steel predators, an unstoppable force that threatened to sweep away everything in its path. The T-34's 76.2mm gun packed a devastating punch. Its legend was forged in the fires of Kursk and the ruins of Berlin. The Sherman M4 tank, often overshadowed by its more iconic counterparts, was the workhorse of the Allied armies, a symbol of American industrial might unleashed in the fight against tyranny. Unlike the German obsession with wonder weapons, the Americans focused on practicality, on producing a reliable, adaptable tank that could be built in staggering numbers. And build them they did. The Sherman rolled off American production lines at a pace that astonished even the Soviets, becoming the backbone of the Allied advance from the beaches of Normandy to the heart of the Third Reich. It wasn't the most heavily armed or armored tank on the battlefield, but what it lacked in raw power, it made up for in versatility and sheer numbers. The Sherman was, in many ways, the embodiment of American ingenuity. It could be adapted for a variety of roles, from infantry support to tank hunting, thanks to its reliable 75mm gun, and later, the more powerful 76mm. But the Sherman's greatest strength was its crew survivability. The Sherman may not have been the most glamorous tank of the war, but it was the tank that got the job done, liberating Europe one town, one village, one hedgerow at a time. The WWII. Just hearing the name sends a chill down your spine, conjures images of almost mythical battlefield prowess. This wasn't just a tank, this was a statement, a steel fist designed to smash through enemy lines and shatter morale. The Tiger was Hitler's answer to the T-34 shock, a behemoth born of desperation and ambition. Its 88mm gun, originally designed as an anti-aircraft weapon, became the stuff of legend, capable of engaging enemy tanks at incredible distances with pinpoint accuracy. Allied tankers spoke of the Tiger in hushed tones, its reputation preceding it like a storm cloud. To encounter a Tiger on the battlefield was to experience a visceral terror, to know that you were facing a predator that could erase you from existence with a single, well-placed shot. But the Tiger was more than just a killing machine. It was a psychological weapon, a symbol of German industrial might at a time when the tide of war was turning against them. The sight of a Tiger, its thick armor seemingly impervious to all but the heaviest Allied guns, was enough to break the spirit of entire infantry units. However, the Tiger, for all its might, was a flawed masterpiece. It may have struck fear into the hearts of its enemies, but it could not stem the tide of history. From the ashes of a brutal conflict, the Soviets forged the IS-2, a heavy tank designed to smash through German defences and deliver the killing blow to the Third Reich. If the T-34 was the tide of iron, the IS-2 was the thunderclap, the hammer blow that shattered the enemy's resolve. It was a monster of a machine, heavily armoured and armed with a monstrous 122mm gun that could reduce enemy fortifications to rubble with terrifying ease. The IS-2 was the Soviet answer to the Tiger, a brute force counterpunch to the German obsession with technological superiority. Where the Tiger was a scalpel, the IS-2 was a sledgehammer. It cared little for finesse, relying instead on raw power and overwhelming firepower to crush its opponents. The 122mm gun, while lacking the range and accuracy of the Tiger's 88mm, delivered a devastating punch that could cripple even the heaviest German armour. The IS-2 became a symbol of Soviet might, a rolling monument to the Red Army's determination to crush the Nazi war machine. The IS-2's roar signalled the end of an era, the final act in a conflict that had consumed the world in flames. The Churchill tank. Just the name evokes images of Britain's bulldog spirit, of defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. This was a tank born of desperation, rushed into production as the island nation braced itself for a possible German invasion. It was ungainly, slow, and often mechanically unreliable, but the Churchill, like the nation it defended, possessed a tenacious spirit that could not be broken. What it lacked in speed, the Churchill made up for in sheer grit. It could climb slopes that other tanks could only dream of conquering, its tracks churning through mud and rubble with relentless determination. The Churchill was a tank designed for the rugged terrain of the European theatre, a mobile fortress capable of withstanding incredible punishment. Early models armed with a 6-pounder gun struggled against German armour, but the Churchill, like a true underdog, adapted and evolved. Later variants, equipped with the more powerful 75mm and even the devastating 95mm howitzer, became formidable opponents, capable of dishing out as much punishment as they could take. The Churchill may not have possessed the sleek lines or raw power of its German counterparts, but it embodied the tenacity and determination of the British spirit. Imagine, if you will, the Eastern Front, a desolate landscape scarred by war where death could arrive from any direction. Now picture this, a low-slung, heavily armoured vehicle, almost invisible against the backdrop of charred trees and shattered buildings. This is the Stug 3, the silent hunter of the Third Reich, a weapon designed to deliver death from the shadows. The Stug 3 wasn't a tank in the traditional sense, it lacked a turret, relying instead on a fixed gun, the infamous 75mm anti-tank cannon, later upgraded to even more potent variants. This gave it a lower profile than most tanks, making it harder to spot and even harder to hit. The Stug 3 was a master of ambush, lying in wait for unsuspecting enemy armour to stumble into its sights. Its low silhouette allowed it to utilise natural cover, turning seemingly innocuous hillsides and rubble piles into deadly killing grounds. The Stug 3's gun, while lacking the versatility of a turreted tank, was optimised for long-range engagements. The Stug 3 might have been overshadowed by its more glamorous counterparts, but in the hands of a skilled crew, it was a weapon to be feared, a silent hunter that stalked the battlefields of World War II. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more exciting historical content. Let us know in the comments which vehicle you found most fascinating. We've journeyed through the history of these mechanical monsters, these steel behemoths that reshaped warfare and left an indelible mark on the 20th century. But their stories are just a small part of the larger narrative, a glimpse into the heart of a conflict that touched the lives of millions. We owe it to those who fought and died in the shadow of these machines to remember their sacrifices, to learn from the past, and to strive for a future free from the horrors of war. Until next time, keep exploring history, keep asking questions, and never forget the human cost of conflict.